So what I've done is I'm changing the setup a little bit. I've decided that I'm going to go with the Vise because it's easy, easier than doing it with wedges and blocks, and I want to make up some proper tapered hold down wedges, which I haven't got yet. So obviously that's why I want to make them up, because I haven't got any. So the wedge that you use for holding jobs down in a shaper or a planer, they're like a parallel, except for they are basically triangular in shape, a little bit rounded on the end, but they're basically triangular, and they've got a taper, a wedge on the back of them, so that when you load them up, it pushes the job down onto the floor of or onto the table or onto your faceplate or whatever. But that's they're not square, is the best way of terming it. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put this job in the Vise, and you'll notice that the Vise is orientated, like the jaw will be orientated lengthways with the direction of travel. Now there's two reasons for you doing that. The first reason is that a shaper only makes money or saves you time when it's cutting. So you always cut the long face wherever possible. That's the most productive way, because it's only working when it's cutting, and if it's only cutting 2 inches, it's only doing half the work that it would if it's cutting 4 inches, because the return stroke is non-productive. So the more time it spends cutting and the less return strokes it does, the more earning capacity it has. The other thing for doing it is that it takes the load off the moving jaw of the Vise. It becomes a clamping load on the jaws, and when the jaws are loaded, the moving jaw is trying to do this. Whereas if you've got the Vise, and this is the fixed jaw, and this side we're talking about, and this is your moving jaw, if you've got the direction of travel coming this way, what's happening is it's doing this on your moving jaw all the time, as opposed to trying to cock it a little bit. And so what happens is you go from a friction clamping force, which means you can really lean on it and do it up tight, to when you lean on it and you do it up tight, what you then do is you put more load on it and you stress your Vise even further. That's my theory. I think 99% of Vises I see on shapers on YouTube are not correctly orientated. That's a personal opinion. No doubt plenty of people will argue with me, but that's how I look at it. So what we'll do is you can actually see what's going on here, but we'll tilt you down a little bit more so you can see a little bit more. What I've got here is I've got my Mercer back plunge test indicator. I have taken a ruler, and the Vise jaws are 6 3/8 inches long, which is about 158 millimeters, and I've set the stroke to 5 inches. So now that's on 5 inches, I've set the stroke speed to 12 strokes per minute over 5 inches. I've then brought the machine back. We've done a little bit of setup off camera. I've brought the machine right back so that it strokes the length of the jaw, because there's no manual provision for winding this machine. So what we're going to do is we're going to sneak over here till we get close. Okay, we're getting in the ballpark there. Just going to set a 0 here so that I've got a rough idea of what's going on. So that's a 0. That's across 40 thou. So we'll go 60 thou. We'll go 80 thou. 80 thou, we've got some movement on the gauge. Now I'm going to be a bit conservative here, because 80, I think I'll go another 10, it's a bit much. Yeah, we're sort of in the vicinity of 0 there. only so hopefully it's easy for the other camera to see. We'll let this run a little bit. Now we'll pull it into gear. Now I'll come around this side for a panel shot. And I think we need a little bit more preload on the gauge. Don't believe everything you see, because the gauge is sticky. Okay. So we'll turn you off and we'll get the gauge working. Okay, so I've got the gauge working again. Sweeping within we're sweeping within a 5 there. It's now within a 3 there. That's now worse. Nip that a little bit. Loosen this one fraction. That's what I'm going to do. Pulled it. So we're now down to that stroking 1/4 of a thou thereabouts. Cut, 40 thou cross feed. So basically it's taking out a cubic millimetre every pass. We're on 44 strokes a minute. I'll do is I'll turn you off and I'll bring you in so you can have a look at it a bit closer. Okay. Yes, you can see reflections in it. I need to come back and give it another rub because I was a bit rough on my initial setup. That's an initial setup mark. Now, that feels really good. Like I can run my fingers up and down it, and yes, it's a good non-slip surface, but I can run my fingers up and down it and I can't feel any real tearing. What we have here, these are the chips that came off that cut. You wouldn't think that that chip would result in that finish, would you? You'd expect to see it torn up a lot more than it is. Yes, you can see the reflection in the rough cut surface. These chips are coming off so raw, I wouldn't dare touch them. Change the stroke length a bit on this. I'm going to add a couple inches. So by adding the extra couple inches, what I'm hoping it will do is it'll carry this chip off and then drop it. So we'll go a 10th hour finishing cut. Feed it across 10th hour. As you might see that knocking it up on the speed, where are we? We're at 44. We're going to try 54 strokes per minute. falling off glue. Now I've learned something. It's not touching here, but it's touching here. Something's moving. There's a burr up there. Square as it should be, by I reckon about 10th hour. What I think's happened is that at the highest speed speed as it is at the high speed. Finish at 56 strokes a minute, better than what it is at 44 strokes a minute. Mind you, it looks like I'm only cutting 5 thou instead of 10 thou. Okay, so it still hasn't cleaned up in this back corner, which worries me. not square. So something has moved. The question is, what has moved? Go across. Pull that 0. Call that 0, it's putting a mark on the rust. So we'll go down 40th hour. We'll leave it on the 10th hour crossfeed. Yes. Okay. Cool. Let's see what it is. I know what it is. Oh yeah, I know what it is. It is an economy piece of high-speed steel from our friends at Asia. So, don't use it for roughing cuts. Don't use it at high feed rates. Don't get it hot. here. I think this surface here is deceptively hard. Because it looks like it's pulled the edge off the edge. It's pulled the edge off this as well. Good thing that wasn't carbide cutting tools, isn't it? It's really ripped this up. It's ripped that up big time. So we've ripped up 2 bits of tool steel on the same surface.